Calls for a banking dictatorship. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I'm still working through that morning coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at this article from the ABC discussing, well, what one could argue is handing over a big portion of the job of our elected representatives to an independent body. Sounds like a banking dictatorship, doesn't it? Well, let's have a look at this and see what this innovative new idea is. And if you're all as skeptical, cynical, and paranoid as I am about this idea, this is just, I can't believe what I'm actually about to read. With interest rates so low, what tools does the Reserve Bank have to support the economy? Well, no, actually, no, I'm lying. I can most certainly believe what I'm about to read, but I'm a bit depressed that I am. Every month, the Reserve Bank announces its interest rate policy settings. If there's a change in its policy, inevitably, the question always goes to whether or not borrowing rates have been affected. But what about deposit rates? They affect just as many bank customers. And the reality facing all savers in 2020 is that they're earning next to nothing on their bank deposit accounts. The ANZ Bank last week was the latest to take the axe to its deposit rates. One of its savings accounts now has an ongoing rate of just 0.05%. And it's dire for savers. Well, I would argue, actually earning interest on money is, in some ways, quite a modern invention. Hasn't always existed. Anyway, interest rate comparison website Mozo says the bank deposit rates can be found outside the best deposits can be found outside the big four banks. Wow, look at these providers, 86400, 1.85%. Wow. Fast Track, Bank of Queensland, not even 2%, everyone. Not even 2%. Luckily, they've got this here, what you'll earn on your $10,000. Most depositors, though, are tied up with the big four banks, and the highest concentration of savers is with the Commonwealth Bank. A CBA 5-year term deposit account will earn you under 1% per annum on a balance under $50,000. We're at a point now where you cannot reasonably expect to earn anything more than a percentage point on your savings for the foreseeable future. Mozo director Kirsty Lamont said it's the worst savings environment she's seen, describing it as dire. Well, it's because we have all of these interventions in the market. Interest rates to stay low. The latest commentary from the US Federal Reserve, the decisions of which influence global interest rates more broadly, is that it's not budging. This is the rate the Federal Reserve sets will be as low as possible for as long as possible, potentially years, or they may never actually be able to increase them. They may know that if they try and increase it, it'll just tank the economy and tank the market. Australia's Reserve Bank commentary is similar. Governor Philip Lowe recently said the board will not increase the cash rate target until progress is being made towards full employment. Well, you know what they'll do eventually? They'll just define what full employment is. You just have to think about having a job. You'll have to think about having a job. Then you'll be considered employed. I'm joking, but just wait. It probably will happen. Maybe you only have to think about it for 1 hour. Given the unemployment rate is forecast by most economists to stay above 7% until the end of next year, it's easy to see how the RBA may not raise interest rates for several years. HSBC's chief economist, Paul Bloxham, has also provided a sense of just how far off any change in interest rates may be, saying he expects record lows out into the distance. And here we go. Here's the cash rate. You can see, there's their forecast. I'll bring up the cash rate chart. I haven't updated it since we hit 0.25 because nothing's been happening. Maybe I should, just to continue the straight line across. So, is it time for radical ideas? And here's the reason why I want to read this article and want to bring it to everyone's attention. All of this raises a rather large question. If the Reserve Bank has nowhere left to go with interest rates and printing money as a way to support the economy, it's only used in times of crisis, how can the RBA manage the economy in years to come? And here we go. I mean, we are a centrally planned economy. We don't have a free market. The rates aren't free. They should be free. There should be multiple reserve banks competing each with their own individual currency, with exchange rates moving between them. You can pick between which ones you have. But then again, our financial literacy and of the average punter wouldn't be enough for people to actually... Or maybe my expectations are too low. To just take a time of adjustment to adapt to a truly free market. You see, if interest rates were much higher, it would gradually ease policy over time to cushion the economy. It's known as managing the economic cycle. But with interest rates so low, there's no longer an option. And this is where I thought, okay, this will be another call for negative interest rates. But no, I was wrong. HSBC's economics team has made a suggestion. Given fiscal policy is now the only potential or potent tool for influencing demand in the economy, it should be shared between the government and an independent fiscal authority, according to the HSBC. An independent fiscal authority. They want to remove, or they want an independent body to get control over fiscal policy. Is this calls for a power grab? I mean, how much power and control could you have over this? I need to get my tinfoil hat on. Am I the only one that's getting a bit paranoid about this? It's a radical proposal. The central idea is that government spending decisions that have the potential to influence the ups and downs of the economic cycle should be made by this independent fiscal authority. Essentially, removing what vestiges of democracy or influence our say can have on the running of our civilization to a significant extent. Do we need more bureaucrats making these decisions? There's already a huge amount of people in the bureaucracy that really run the country. It's like, it really is like Yes Minister. Anything from decisions around the superannuation guarantee to key infrastructure projects and moves to increase or decrease welfare payments like JobSeeker would be within its scope. Rather than raising or lowering the cash rate every month, the financial authority or the Reserve Bank would make spending decisions perhaps every quarter to help shift economic growth. I mean, why then bother with two parties? We should just get one party, and maybe this independent fiscal authority, that they decide, you know, how much housing costs and how many boots we need to produce to keep the workers in boots, and then if the war with Eurasia is going well, and how many flights in and out of Airstrip 1, you know, maybe why don't we just do that? Unsurprisingly, the Reserve Bank says it doesn't want to contribute towards this discussion. Oh, I wonder why. Why is this even a bloody discussion? Handing over this. It's ludicrous. Do people not see where this is heading? Treasury, though, has told the ABC the government is accountable to the Parliament and to Australian taxpayers for the expenditure decisions it makes and will continue to take. So that's a no-go. Away then. Okay. Anyway, I mean, that's ludicrous. That this is even being suggested. That this is even being put forward. This is a step towards away from democracy. Central control. And just slipped into an article here. So the big question for policymakers. The question of how policymakers effectively manage the economy during and after the pandemic isn't going to disappear. Well, this is the thing. We need to step away from the fantasy that you can manage an emergent system, because any intervention you make results in more mistakes than people realize over and over again. We're paying the price for that. A whole generation is going to pay the price for that. And the consequence of this will affect every single Australian. Savings, as we have known, the practice now for decades. Well, bullshit. People don't save. Most Australians don't have savings, guys. Okay, there's a huge chunk that do, but a whole lot of them, the younger ones, have got nothing in there. Nothing. No reserve. How many people... We were reading about this successful couple, the husband and wife. She's a project manager. They're breaking in a lot of money. PMs earn a lot of money, everyone. She should not be worried about having to sell their house. This is insane. It's just people living beyond their means. So in order to earn a decent return, depositors must now consider putting their money into other assets like shares or property. There are major problems with this. Firstly, it involves taking on risk. And secondly, of course, many Australians simply don't have the kind of cash that makes these kinds of investments possible in the first place. Recently, big falls in the stock market only serve to highlight how frightening it can feel to have much of your life savings tied up in assets like stocks and shares. And there's no sugarcoating the pandemic or its impact on both the economy and how we save money. Well, no, it's the response. It's the strategies put in place to mitigate the potential impact of the pandemic that have caused the economic damage. That's what's happened. However, crises like the pandemic force us to consider new ways of doing things, preferably for the better. This isn't a new way of doing things. This is not a new way. An independent fiscal authority is not a new way of doing things. It's been tried before. Seattle's experimenting with something, with an independent commune right at the moment, right in the middle of the city. And they're begging for food. Idiots. So yeah, guys, I thought it'd be a nice little article about negative interest rates, but no, there's another strategy. It's maybe all just falling into place. What do you think, everyone? Would you like to hand over independent fiscal authority? Or do you think most Australians just don't care and would be happy for it all to be taken out of their hands or responsibilities? That is what really scares me more than anything. Need to push to get people more politically active. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this below. Would you like to be in charge of the independent fiscal authority? Does it scare the crap out of you like it does for me? Thanks for watching. If you want to support us, there are a few ways you can. Just like, comment, interact with the videos. It helps the algorithm, really helps the content spread. You can support us financially by joining the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay or Independent Reserve and Kucoin. You can find all the links below. We have Gold Pass from the Perth Mint and finally PayPal. Oh, and don't forget the merch that Rachel made. You can see behind me in the pocket squares. Take care. I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.